Welcome to the Conquering Hill podcast, the morning talk show. I'm your host, Nicholas Gagnon. Thank you for joining me today on January 23rd, a beautiful Tuesday, whether it's cold outside or sunny and shiny, wherever you are. Thank you for listening. I come to you live streaming here on my YouTube channel and my Facebook page, where you can find the recording every single day on Spotify and YouTube. Thank you for joining me today. So, today I would love to speak with you about the importance of appreciating the smaller things in life. I think generally we do take things for granted. Hell, we take life for granted the majority of the time. But if we can try to step back and appreciate the smaller things in life, we'll be more grateful for the ones that are around us, our loved ones, families, our jobs, everything. Sometimes we take things for granted so much that we have a hard time comparing our lives to some people that really have a tough deck of cards, a tough hand that they've been dealt. Depending wherever you are in this world right now, um, you're not in the middle of a war, maybe not in the middle of a famine. You're stuck and you can't get out of wherever the hell you are, be it North Korea or somewhere in the Middle East, or caught in a conflict between Ukraine and Russia, right? So there's wars happening all over the world. Um, but if you are safe listening to this podcast, you probably don't think about that too often. And those are just small examples of what is happening every single day on this earth. So appreciating the small things in life, it starts from within, being grateful for our family, our loved ones, our job, our pets, anything that brings joy to us, even the tiniest bit, because like I've said before, nothing is guaranteed. We do not know how many sunsets and sunrises we have left. So appreciating the small things in life, appreciating our loved ones that are in our lives, because we don't know how much time we have left with them as well, will really create a rich experience every single day. Now, granted, we do get caught up in things, all these distractions that I spoke about earlier in the prior podcast. That you can't stop those things; it's just part of life. The bells and whistles are always happening. So to slow down and appreciate and be grateful and take stock of what we actually do have, and not what we don't have, will create a better life for ourselves, and we'll become more grateful. I always think back to um, a simple thing like water, electricity. So the Soursop Hostel is in the hills of Panama, in a province called Cherokee, and where the hostel is located, they did not get electricity until 2001. Now, granted, I wasn't there during that period of time when I first started building it. I first started building it in 2016, but only 15 years prior to that, they did not even have electricity. Now imagine that. So a mere 22, 23 years ago, there was no electricity there. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine not living without electricity right now? Not easy. Not easy at all. And yet we have a light switch and we'll just flick it. Half the time we're looking for a charger for our cell phones. Half the time, you know, we take for granted our refrigerator's plugged in. The little things in life, right? So currently, I mean, the main problem when there is the water's off. Well, why is the water off? Sometimes they have there in the hills. There's a giant well up in the hills, which I've hiked to before to help fix the water pipes along the way. So it's like this giant irrigation, giant these tubes are going everywhere across hectares or acres of land in various towns from the mountains, and occasionally there's a crack in the PVC pipe, and one little crack will disrupt the water flow to the whole sector. So when the water turns off at the hostel, it can drive me nuts because you know dirty plates start piling up, dirty clothes. I have to clean the hostel. I have to clean the dog kennel. I have to water the plants when it's a dry season. So these things become very difficult when all of a sudden the water's been off for 6, 7, 8 hours, and it's hot. It is hot. So what usually happens when when the water is off, like I need to go fix that immediately. Now, granted, we are in my town. There is a president of the water board. There's a couple of his disciples that will go and fix the water tubes. But generally, if there's a break, which occasionally there's breaks right outside of my hostel, which I'll go fix, or my neighbor will go fix. We everyone seems to have extra pieces of PVC pipe hanging around for those particular reasons. But when the water breaks, and luckily this only happened once when I've had guests there, and they were Panamanians, and they didn't seem to matter that I had accumulated and stored some water in some water barrels, some tanks, and they were taking their showers outside of a bucket, which I've done before because the water wasn't on, but I had water stored. So they didn't seem to care because they were used to it. They've experienced not having water for an extended period of time. So when you turn that faucet on, and automatically it turns on. You don't even think about it. So when I'm in Panama and that tube is broken somewhere, and it could be because a cow stepped on it, could be someone ran over it, could be a tree fell down and broke it. I want to go find that tube as fast as possible because sometimes, the people in the village, they have jobs. The men have jobs and they have to provide for their families, so they're not always available to go fix these water tubes. So I'll go find it as fast as I can. I'll go by myself. I'll go with whoever needs to go with me. And one time we must have hiked because you have to find it. You don't necessarily know where it is. So depending on where the water is out, they'll get a call to say it's okay, it's in this sector. So we have to go find that particular area. So we'll hike. One time I hiked about 45 minutes to an hour looking for this water tube with a gentleman that lived close by. And he was probably in his 60s, but he works on the land. So generally he's around whenever there's a break, he'll be sent to go fix it. But in the hills, since it's dangerous and you don't want to send anyone alone because if something happens, there's a snake, you fall down. So me and his name is Adolfo. We went hiking and and it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong, hiking is beautiful up in the hills. You can see the nearby towns. You can see the Pacific Ocean. Um, but I'm like, damn, where the hell is this water? Now, granted, we left, I don't know, 6, 7 in the morning because we didn't have water all night, and they won't send anyone out when it's nighttime. It's dark. If you don't have water, you know, after dinner when the sun falls, when the sun sets, more than likely you're not going to get it because they're not going out looking for water tubes in the middle of the night, right? So we went hiking, and about an hour later we found it, and it was down. It was like a carnival. Like it was. Imagine going to a little park and you see the water coming out of the hose and everyone's dancing or cooling off and jumping around, all the kids, and that was happening, and you could see it a good distance away because that's how much force was coming down this mountain. So we had to climb down into the steep hill looking down, and it was dangerous. So he brought his backpack full of newspaper and matches, and you know they are used to the break, so there's old PVC pipes hanging around. So basically, we have to cut a piece, um, and we had to find the valve to turn it off. So there's all the valves everywhere. To find a nearby valve to turn it off and go and fix it. This day probably took about 4 or 5 hours to find it. Walk there, walk back, fix it, and but it was worth it because water was needed. Um, As beautiful as Panama is in a hostel and everything that comes with it, it is still a third world country. So those things do happen. So when I say appreciate the small things in life, water is without question. I love my well water here in Massachusetts. Um, I love the water that I get at the hostel. Right, it's perfect coming from the mountains. So a small example of how grateful we should be about living where we do, and having easy access to clean water, um, goes a long way. Goes a long way. So when you wake up today, or if you're listening today here on my live stream on my YouTube page or Facebook, stop and think about some of the small things in life that maybe you do take for granted, or maybe the friendships and the loved ones that you do take granted. Maybe you take advantage of those situations because they're always going to be there, so you can speak to that person any goddamn way you want to, because that person is your loved one, or a friend, or coworker, and they're never gonna not love you. So you get to treat them whatever the hell you way you want, or your children. Like, oh, they're always gonna be my kids. I can yell at them all day. I can hit them all day if I want. They're my kids. But you're not being grateful for what you have. You're you know, taking advantage of the situation, of who they are and why they're in your life. So becoming grateful and appreciating the small things in life will allow you to appreciate everything around you every single day, and not stressing about what the things you don't have, not stressing about the things that you want and the reasons why that your circumstances are what they are. Because everything happens for a reason. Everything is always connected. The universe is always working. And if you are moving in the right direction, if you are trying to live your best life and trying to follow your dreams, you will see that the universe is working with you, working hand in hand. Opportunities and situation and people come into your life, and you're like, where the hell did that come from? Everything's moving, you know, exceptionally well right now. Why? Because you are living your best life. You're living on your true path. It seems when things are going sideways, or you are struggling with certain things, it's because you're fighting something that you shouldn't be fighting. You're trying to do something that maybe you're not meant to be doing. You're just trying to bull your way through it, but in all actuality, you need to take a step back and look at it a little bit differently and go at a different angle. Things always become easier when you truly love something and you're working towards it. You'll appreciate that process, that journey, because the journey is the best part. The journey is always the best part. We always want to get from point A to point B or C, but to get there does take some work, does take some a little bit of a struggle. But that journey to get to that point makes it all the much sweeter when you get there, when you accomplish something. Appreciate that process. Appreciate what it takes to complete that project. Appreciate all of it. Because when you do look back on your life and certain things that you've done and the things that you've been able to accomplish, you did it. You did those things. Pat yourself on the back once in a while. Say, hey, I did that. Not to be conceited, not to be, be proud. Be proud of what you've done in this life. This is your life. You've done it. You can do anything you set your mind to. It's just a matter of how far do you want to go? What are you willing to sacrifice? How much work are you willing to put in? These are all the these are all the things that are necessary to succeed, to be successful, to be the best at what you do. You got to be willing to put the work in. So appreciate that process, right? Right now, cup of coffee in the morning. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. What do you appreciate the most when you wake up? What do you appreciate the most when you're all done your workday? What do you appreciate the most when you're home with your family? What do you appreciate the most when you're out with your friends? What do you appreciate the most when you walk outside? Ever just walk outside down a trail, in nature, go hiking and just stop for a minute, just enjoy the beauty of this world, the nature around you, the sounds. Yesterday I was driving back home with my three children, and we were driving by the local elementary school, and my dad's like, Dad, look at the deer. And there was three deer standing right in front of the school. And the lights, the way they were shining, directed, you could see the deer perfectly. So luckily there was no cars behind me. So I was able to stop, and my daughter started recording, and I was slowly backing up. And the deer were just standing there on the other side of the fence. And I was slowly backing up, and then eventually I backed up into the parking lot. And one deer kind of got scared a little bit, so he ran off. He jumped the fence like it was nothing. He hurdled that fence like it was nothing and ran across the street. And then, the car started coming some more. And then this car tried pulling into the parking lot. And I had to kind of shift my position a little bit and then back in, probably the best way. And all of a sudden, these two deer start moving again. And next one jumps over the fence, runs across the street. The third one goes to jump over the fence, and as it goes across the fence, jumps over the fence, a car's coming and almost hit it. Almost hit it. That would have been horrible because I would have felt like I was at fault in some way and form, right? Because I stopped to see that. Maybe someone else didn't notice it, right? But it was beautiful to watch the deer for a minute or so and let them stare at us, right? My kids loved it. So appreciating the nature that's around you, appreciate, you know, that fresh air when you go outside. Go outside. Go for a walk. Go for a hike. Find a trail. Find a mountain. Walk along the beach. Put your toes in the sand. Walk into the ocean. Just put your toes in the ocean. Take that polar plunge. Ooh, that polar plunge is serious. Never done it. I've had family members that have done it multiple times. And all power to them. All power to them for doing that. But nature is a beautiful thing. It's all around us. You might be caught in a concrete jungle right now. You can get out of there for a little while. Find a park. Find a lake, a pond. Nature's gifts for us to appreciate. Appreciate the smaller things in life. You'll feel better if you get out of the house and you go for a walk. Granted, it might be cold where you are, but appreciate that snow on the ground. Appreciate everything around you. Appreciate when you go to start your car, it works. Appreciate you don't have to change a tire to start your day. Appreciate the heat in your vehicle works when it's time to go to your job at 7, 8 in the morning and it's freezing outside after you scraped your windshield. Take the time to appreciate the small things in life every single day, and you will live a beautiful life. You won't worry about little things that are occurring. You'll just understand that it's all part of the process. Just understand that this is life. Certain things are going to happen. But it depends on how I react to those things that occur. Because believe it or not, we all experience the same emotions. Believe it or not, great things happen to us. Horrible things happen to us. We lose loved ones along the way. We become disconnected from certain family members along the way sometimes. Our job is difficult. Sometimes we get fired. Sometimes we have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet. Sometimes we're hungry. Sometimes we're tired. Sometimes we feel weak. Sometimes we get sick. We all feel these things. The joy. There are different things in life that create joy for you. There are different things in life that create joy for myself. But we all have the ability to appreciate the small things in life, no matter what it is. You can't take things for granted. There's no time for that because we don't know. We don't know how much we have left. We don't know what tomorrow brings, depending on where you are. We know we have an opportunity to live the best life possible. We have an opportunity to take advantage of all the beautiful things in this world. We have an opportunity to create a lasting legacy. We have an opportunity to be a leader. We have an opportunity to be a role model for the loved ones around us, our coworkers, our students. We have an opportunity to put the best foot forward every single day. Now you can turn that on its head. And we also have all these opportunities to become distracted, to self destruct, get caught up in the game of depression, caught up in the game of just pulling ourselves down, pulling everyone around us down. But for what? For what? There's no reason to be miserable in this world. If you are breathing, living, you can open your eyes and you can hear and you can taste and you can think about all the great things this world has to offer that are just waiting for you. All these great things that are out here in this world, they're just calling your name, waiting for you to experience, waiting for you to arrive and open your eyes and experience it all. You ever gone on a hike or walked along the beach and you just stopped and you look down to the distance and you just get caught there for a minute or two, maybe even longer, and you just stare and you wonder how beautiful this is? I wish this moment would last forever. That memory does. That memory will. But everything around you and everyone in your life are there for a reason. Some of them or some of those things you might not like at every single moment, but it does not matter. Remember, try to take advantage of why everything and everyone around you is there. Remember, this person's here to help me. This person, I'm supposed to learn something from this person. Think about it like that. How is this person going to help me right now? This person's in my life for a particular reason. I'm discussing this project with this particular person. I'm here listening to this lecture. Why am I here listening? What is this person here doing? What am I supposed to gain from this situation? I'm supposed to gain something from this experience. All those questions have answers to them. So go into that situation, go into that lecture, go into that meeting room with the expectation I'm supposed to gain something from this. I'm all ears. Every experience that you have throughout your day, throughout your life, It is building the person that you are, that you're going to become. I look back at certain things in my life and I wonder, I should have did things differently. Oh man, I what I did there, that was stupid. Why the hell did I do that? But in all actuality, I would not change a damn thing. I would do it all over again. I'm lucky enough to say that. I appreciate all those things, events, experiences that I had years ago because that is what made me today. And thankfully, I'm here Monday through Friday with you here on my YouTube page and Facebook page, streaming live at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. And you can catch this replay on YouTube and Spotify. I truly appreciate you taking the time to, have a listen. Hopefully, I've created a little bit of inspiration, motivation for you, and a little bit of value to your day. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time.